one, when I'm in the locker room, I'm absurd. Like, you guys think I'm absurd here. In the locker room, I'm another beast.
Joining us now, she's a midfielder and captain for the Kansas City Current and has earned 5 caps for the U.S. women's national team. A Stanford grad, she helped the Cardinals to the 2011 national title and earned a degree in engineering. Okay, smarty pants. A Cali native with Hawaiian roots via her mom, she scuba, she golfs, she plays paddle. Emma Hayes called her a little gem. She taught me how to do her famous fake hammy injury turned twerk celly at a wedding. It's Lo LaBonta. Hi, Lo.
Hello. Gets me every time, all of these good things that are said about me.
Well, they're all true. I'm so excited to chat with you. You're technically supposed to be on a break, international break for the NWSL, but it's not been too much of a break because your KC Current team was playing in the Teal Rising Cup, which is a 4-team tournament. You beat Brazil's SC Palmeiras 6-1 to lift the shield. Do you like having a game in the midst of all the practices, or would you prefer more rest during the break?
I obviously am one of the older players, so I absolutely want a break. But we do get days off. But one thing I have loved is having these games against international teams. It's really good for the experience, especially too, because we're going to be playing CONCACAF Champions League this year. So getting experience like that right now for our younger players as well is so fun. And then obviously I'm saying it's great because we lifted the trophy at the end of it.
Yeah, it's always fun to win stuff. Have you gotten the chance to do any non-soccer life stuff the last week or so?
Well, now that the seasons are changing, I have summarized my house. A lot of like watering the plants, getting the yard work going, getting seeds to garden. My husband's family has stayed with us, which has been great to get family time. So a lot of laundry of doing all the sheets and all that. But I am definitely known for enjoying life off the field just as I do as much on the field. So I know how to find that balance.
Lo LaBonta, she's just like us. The weather changes and she gets all cute about her house and her garden and her flowers. I love it. We also have really loved watching you have such great success with the Kansas City Current, captaining the team to the Shield in record time last season. But it's been a real journey for you, including being on 3 teams that folded. Sky Blue, FC Kansas City, the first iteration of the Utah Royals. That's really tough. I first have to ask, like, is it possible that you're a curse?
I'm like, I'm the common denominator? Am I the problem?
Might be. Might be. No, but for real, like, how hard is it to stay committed to this career when there's such instability?
Oof, what a great question. And I think, because I've been in the league for so long and have so many of these highs and lows, people continue to ask me a question along those lines. But it's because this game is continuing to grow. Like, just alone watching Kansas City Current. When we came here, we didn't even when they brought us back here, we didn't even have a team name yet. We didn't have a facility. We didn't have a stadium. And just in that little time, we were able to accomplish all that, win a shield, become one of the biggest organizations in the league, known worldwide, attracted these international players. And myself too, I'm experiencing a lot of success and still growing in the game. So that's why I continue to do it. Believe me, it ends a lot of days with headaches and sore muscles. And that's why I got these bags under my eyes. But when we're on the field having a good time.
Hey, everybody. Non-interview Sarah here. We had some technical difficulties with Lo and her computer, but we have reestablished connection with her on her phone. Audio, video might look a little bit different, but still good. Okay, I want to go back to the beginning then to one of those teams that folded because you were drafted by Sky Blue in 2015. You played 6 games and then you got cut. And I'm wondering, when you look back with the distance that you now have, what do you think went wrong? Was it that you weren't ready? The team was a mess? Just wasn't a good fit?
I would say kind of all the above. That was one of the organizations that struggled, honestly, for a while. And until they kind of had their name changed to Gotham now, they were struggling. And then they went in, won 2 NWSL championships, I think. I mean, they're balling out now. They're a team that competes every single year. But also, don't get me wrong, I didn't think I should be a starter getting all these minutes. I knew going in that it was gonna be a very hard transition, and I think I needed that setback in that reality check that it's not gonna be a walk in the park, it's not college anymore. So, I actually just went, refocused, got as fit as I could, and have been with the Kansas City organization since.
Yeah, I mean, you battled through the starts and stops of the teams that folded and ended up on this team, helping them become one of the preeminent teams in the league. You've been there since 2021. You've gotten to see success and do it on a team that has a purpose-built stadium, amazing facilities, great steady leadership. Like, how much does it mean to you specifically, more so than maybe some of the other players in the league, to see the growth of the NWSL over the last 10 years?
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I definitely remind those young ones that they have no idea, and they got it so good, especially even just the players that have been on this team for the last 2 years. For example, like Alex Pfeiffer and Claire Hutton, 2 of our youngest players we had in the last 2 years. They came in and we were crushing the league, scoring, breaking all these records, making the playoffs easily. And I was like, "You guys, it was not like this." Like, the year before, we didn't even make playoffs. We were all probably even, like, 2nd to last place or even last, I don't know, but we struggled, and I'm glad they have that because that is what we continue to show up for that next generation, and I hope they continue to raise the bar as well. But, yeah, I definitely am telling them stories, and they always are like, "Oh, the low lore."
Well, interesting though, like you're very open about struggles, about finances, about all the things and your journey throughout the league. You were part of this very fun reality show, The Off Season, a couple years ago. A bunch of NWSL players training, living together in Miami, getting stuck in elevators and such. And in one episode, you went on a pretty lengthy sort of rant about being underpaid. And I watched that and then later saw you get this bag and I thought, that monologue on the show probably helped you get a better contract. Do you think that's how it went down?
I think well, I would hope so because when I say things, I hope someone's listening. Because if not, I'm just losing my breath over nothing. But I don't think it just helped me. I think it helped a lot of players in the league because at that time I had not been called into the national team. And when you're not, you're almost disrespected in terms of pay. No matter the years that you put in, they will never go above a certain amount. And so I think me advocating, I mean, to the world, that thing was everywhere. It helped start a conversation, I think, for a lot of players, and I'm glad that did because at the end of the day, I don't care if the person next to me is getting paid more than me. I want that. I want everyone to get paid. I want the pay to go up across the league. I would just also like a cut of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about that. You've said openly, like, you want other people to get the best deal, and you're not worried if money goes to someone else. You're just committed to sharing contract information, spreading the wealth, talking openly about financials. Where do you think that generosity, that desire to sort of change the stigma about talking about money comes from?
I think, in the very beginning of the league, a lot of people were embarrassed and ashamed, like rightly so. I know the first year I was not openly telling people, but I would tell some people. And my first full salary for the year was $7,500. And so when people would ask me that, I'm like, yeah, and having oatmeal 5 times a day because that's all I can afford right now. But this is a sport I love, so I'm gonna sacrifice and do that. And people need to know and have these conversations because they would never know that. They would never know that we need to fight for a players association and all these rights and a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement. And people have to be vulnerable in order to change and grow the sport.
Well, and I think, especially early years of women's professional sports, it felt like it delegitimized the work and the talent to have such low salaries. And I know sometimes even leagues wouldn't publish the amount that someone got fined because if the fine was like $200, it just revealed how little you could find people you weren't paying. I actually got fined within the first 2 weeks of being an owner of the Chicago Red Stars, and my fine was $200. And I was like, well, at least if I'm getting fined, they're not charging me much. I don't know. I think the fines have gone up since then. But yeah, I mean, I think it sucks because it feels like it's then some sort of value of the quality and talent, and that was not the case. And so it is hard to talk about when salaries are so low. now that they're going up, though, it's just as important to make sure that everyone is moving with the league and not being left behind because they're too embarrassed to ask, like, am I getting paid what I'm worth? Speaking of the reality show, I'm wondering, it's been a little while. I've been waiting for season 2. Is it happening? And if it came along, would you want to do it again?
I'm saying absolutely, I would do it again. Another season, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's happening. I would love for it to. I had a great time. Midge Person, one of my good friends. I love her. If you ever want an honest conversation,
Yeah.
go to that girl.
Uh-huh.
I've learned so much from her, and I want to follow her everywhere. She's a pioneer in this new realm of reality TV and sports for women, and I can't wait to see where she goes with it. But I also want her to bring me along for all of it.
Yeah.
I have to be her plus one. I have so much fun every time I do stuff like that with her.
Do you watch reality shows differently now that you've been on it? Like, do you see people through a different lens?
I would say so. My husband and I mainly watch like documentaries, so we're not the biggest reality TV, but like the all the Netflix sports ones, for sure. I can be like, they're in the heat of the moment getting filmed, and I'm like, I know why they were reacting like that on
Yeah.
Formula One. At least ours
Yeah.
was chill in Miami.
You know, last year was a dream regular season for the current, but a loss to Gotham in the semis ended the hopes for the double-double, the Shield championship double. You know, looking back with a little distance on it now, can you say what went wrong in that game and at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's not just one answer to what happened, right? There was a lot of things happening, but at the end of the day, I would say Gotham has a lot of players who have experience in gamesmanship and know how to manage big moments like that. I
Mm.
think a lot of them have been it like I said, they won it before. They've gone from 8 to lift the trophy, and so they know how to be in those moments. And I would say maybe we were just a little innocent in that aspect. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think the more experienced team won because I don't think it had anything to do with game plan or grit. Like both teams it was a pretty even game. So I think at the end of the day, that's maybe what helped them push it over the edge and win that game.
Yeah, obviously would have helped if Temwa Shawinga was there. That's always tough to lose one of your best players, but
Cooper, like
I'm
all the big ballers.
yeah, Cooper too, Michelle Cooper. You know, I am cluing in though, and you said gamesmanship, and you said maybe your team was a little innocent. So that sounds to me more like, are you talking about Ann Katrin Berger? Are you talking about looking for penalties? Like, what do you mean by
Oh,
gamesmanship?
no, no, no. I think there's certain there's certain things in soccer that you don't necessarily get taught. It's you learn it by playing games, and usually a lot of times it is like you mentioned Berger. She is one of the best at it. She can know when she needs to get the ball and put her team on a counterattack. She also knows when to put her foot on the ball
Mhm.
and just,
And maybe her
have
whole body
possession. Exactly,
for
and
a while.
maybe call the coach out and talk with her out there, but those are certain things. That's the management of a game that some players, they just have that in them, and I think they have a few, Sonnet as well, but then they
Yeah.
also have players that Jaden Shaw can make something out of nothing, so that's where I say they had all the pieces that you kinda usually need for a championship team.
Well, now you have even more experience, so you'll go in with some of those tricks in your book. When this season started, how much did y'all talk about how last season ended and, thinking about unfinished business?
Yeah, I think, there were a lot of different conversations being had, and there was a lot of turnover in our club as well. So it was almost like, all right, we have to have this one conversation and then we have to put it behind us because this is a new year. We can't change anything about that moment. We hopefully learned from that, and now we got to start the new year fresh.
You have a new coach, Chris Armas. How's that transition been?
Oh, I mean, I think the guy wants to put on a jersey and be out there with us. Like he's so excited, so it's hard not to match that energy every day.
What kind of coach is he? Like, what vibes does he bring?
He brings the energy like this, and he and I play, or he played. He's no longer playing, but he played my position, and so I think he loves to come and talk to me about how he sees things, and I can feel that he literally wants to put his boots on pull up his socks and get out there. And so I think it's easy for him to communicate what he wants us to do. So yeah, he's very, very involved, very high energy, and a good guy.
You found so much success under Vlatko Andonovski, and he was a huge part of helping communicate with Emma Hayes that you were deserving of those caps up at the national team. He's still in the building. He's now the sporting director for the club. Do you still go to him for advice or for a coach up, or do you feel like you could if you wanted to?
Oh, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, he's still around, so I don't even have to ask. He will let me know if there is
Unsolicited
something.
advice.
Yes. And it's funny, I feel like I can banter with him a little more now because he's not the head coach. And I'll make a comment to him and I'll be like, you don't get to say that to me. You're not controlling the starting lineup
You're not
anymore.
my
Like,
dad anymore,
yeah,
Vlatko.
exactly, exactly. I'm like, go do whatever your title, your job is now.
Are we still gonna get any bets between him and Temwa though? Because I want some more bets. I want her to be stepping up and almost immediately pulling off whatever he challenged her to, because that's how it happened last time.
It is, and that's the greatest thing I think that I've seen out of Lacko is like he just knows how to get even more out of Temwa because it's hard to ask for more from her,
Mm.
right? She's the fastest, she works the hardest, she scores the most goals. Like she's just the best person in the locker room. I was even telling her today, I was like, Temwa, you need to speak up a little more. You're funny.
Yeah.
So she does it all. And if there's one thing Black is going to do, it's going to raise the bar on people's skill levels. And he truly has with her. So I don't even know what he's going to ask of her, but I know
Yeah.
she would want to do it for him.
Okay, well, if the listeners have suggestions of things that Temwa has not yet accomplished, we can send them on over to the current. Does it feel like sometimes it's hard to replace someone who's had great success like Vlatko, especially if they are still in the building? Does it feel like they're working together? Does it feel like there's a pretty clear line between what Chris is trying to do and what Vlatko's role is?
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, when Chris was being hired, they were having conversations before. And then when Chris came in, he was like, I'm here because that guy brought me. And so they already had that instant partnership. And that's cool, right? You don't want to divide in the
Mm-hmm.
facility at all. We can't be having divides in our own home. So they immediately wanted to work together. And a lot of the processes we do are blacklist processes he put in with the team the last couple of years. And Chris has obviously put his own twist on it, but he's there doing it as well. So we're coming together for sure.
Kind of a slow start to the season, 2 wins, 3 losses, plenty of time to move up the table. What do you need to work on the most? What needs to improve to put more wins on the board?
Yeah, I think my biggest win right now would be getting a shutout. Even in this Till Rising Cup, we were still getting goals scored on us. So that's something we as a group have agreed upon that we need to be better at. And one thing Chris wants us to do is keep the ball more. And that is my favorite thing ever. I love having the ball. I hate chasing the ball. So it's been something we've been working on in this international break. And I'm excited to see us actually implement it in the season again.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bye in the NFL. Like it came at a good time for your team. Like, okay, tough start, get our shit together, get back out there after the international break. I saw a report this week that the NWSL is working on a program for league-wide cleat and goalkeeper glove exposure agreements, basically forcing players that are wearing non-partner sponsorship deals to cover up their brand logos and matches, pay fines if they don't. Do you think this is going to keep players from signing with other brands, or will players probably just dutifully cover the logos and wear what they feel good in?
I think players have to look good, feel good, and they will then play good. I think one of the biggest examples is Kayla Sharples. She started
Yeah,
wearing this new cleat that she's been crushing in. Like, there's been no better advocate, I think, for that cleat than Kayla right now. She's been so successful since she's worn those. So, and there's a reason why she's wearing it. She didn't just wear them because of style, but
right.
now that she's rocking them, and there is a reason why it's just so good that it's also teal. But
Yeah.
players players should not have to just be in one. That's what the jersey's for, right? That's the uniform. Then you can wear your headbands, your cleats, and all that. But I, if the league wants that, I'm just like, just pay us more than.
Right. I was going to say, so shout out to Cadix cleats, which I know Kayla's a sponsor for, and they're specifically designed to reduce like injuries in female athletes, particularly ACL and ankle. And we're here for that as much as it possibly can help. But it does feel like a financial stream to the league that might then prevent that same stream to the players, either because they won't be getting individual sponsorship deals if the money's going to the league to ensure that that's what they're wearing, or they might not be able to get that financial little boost from a different company if they don't feel like their logos will actually be out there. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Speaking of Kayla Sharples, it was at her nuptials that you taught me your viral celly. My twerk, not as good as yours, not surprisingly, but I'm not the only one who's copied it. Travis Kelce, among the other famous pro athletes who saw your celebration and decided to copy it. How did you come up with that? And how many games did you have to wait before scoring so that you could bust it out?
Oh my gosh. I think I came up with that because when I'm in the locker room, I'm absurd. Like, you guys think I'm absurd here. In the locker room, I'm another beast. And so I was just like, come on, you guys, like, we need to start celebrating our goals. We were not having the year before, we weren't having the best of years. So it was like, how can we, how can
Yeah.
we really bring the joy
More
to this?
joy.
Yes. And so other players were scoring. So I initially started coming up with celebrations for other players. I'm like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And they're like, yeah, but what about you? And I go, ugh, as a six, like, the older I've gotten, the more I've dropped in the lineup, like on the field. So I'm like a defensive player this year. And I'm like, well, if I score, I'll do this and then like I'll twerk. And everybody was like, no way, no, you won't. And I go, you guys don't know me then, because I will absolutely. So the one game that I actually said I was gonna do it, it was in San Diego, and there's only one PK I've ever missed in the league. And I think it was because I was already thinking about doing this
Oh, man.
celebration,
Yep.
but keeper saves it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to focus next time." And so that next game, it happened
Yep.
again. I was like, "I'm not missing this. I'm not
Yep.
missing this," and I made it. And I think when you see that I was truly just about to be so hyped, and then I was like, "Oh my god,
You
my goal,
remembered.
Sally." Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
You
god,"
could
and then I
definitely see
started doing
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the next Sally in the chamber? What do we got cooking up for next goal?
Oh, well, speaking of Kayla Sharples, her and I came up with one, and there's actually a USA women's rugby game in our stadium tomorrow. And so Kayla and I, when we went to visit the rugby team and see them at practice, we gave them ours. So if they do it,
Ooh.
we'll have to come up with another one, which
Oh,
I
I
hope they
love that.
do.
I love that.
But yes, that's the next one for, and then after that, I don't know, because our attack right now on our team is so good. I don't know if I'll be up there at all anymore.
Well, we saw you do the baby, the Casey baby, rocking the baby. Maybe we should give you, maybe instead of demanding that Temwa achieve even greater heights that we can't even think of, we should just start giving you Sally ideas for her.
Please, I will take them all. It's really hard to get her to do some sellies. I think there was two that I've gotten her to do, and one, it just happened to be where she blew out the candles for her
Yeah.
birthday. But again, she's so humble. Her and Dabinia, like the best players in the world, and so humble. I'm
So
like,
humble. What's
oh,
that like? Yeah.
I couldn't be me.
It couldn't
I'm
be
twerking
me.
on TV after a PK. Couldn't be
I mean, I
me.
would have so many Sallys in the chamber, just ready, like way too many, like an inordinate amount for the amount of goals I would ever score, but they would be ready just in case. You are very funny, very outspoken. You like to have fun. You and your hubby, former Sporting Kansas City player Roger Espinoza, you teased a new addition to the household last year. You posted a cute little pic of the two of you with a 1+1=3. You posted a little bun in the oven photo. Everyone got all excited, but psych. It was a dog. It was Amigo. I love a pity. I have pitties. So tell me everything about Amigo.
So Amigo was a gift from my birthday gift last year from my husband. And it's because he started coaching and he was never gonna be around. Like, I won't see that man anymore. I don't know where he is. Coaching line could never be for me because,
Yeah.
oh my God, those hours are insane. So he was like, hey, just so you know, we're getting a dog today. And I was like, you're lying, just dropped everything. I'm like, I'm going and I'm ready wherever it is. Like, he's a year old and he's still just as floppy, just as happy.
Oh,
He makes me laugh.
I love
He's
it. I do
so
like, I
goofy.
mean, we like your husband, so we're not going to shame him for being gone all the time and being the one who surprised you with the dog. Like, hey, we're getting a dog. By the way, see ya. Good luck with the potty training and picking up the poop and all the other things. You did get some sponsorship deals with Amigo too, though. So I guess, Shouts to the dog for getting that bag. So final question, since you just mentioned the coaching thing wouldn't be yours, back to the engineering degree, Stanford engineering, no less. So when your soccer career is over, do you see yourself like staying in the sport with broadcasting or something, or do you want to get back into whatever drew you to that engineering major?
I think both. I think that would be the best balance for me. I absolutely want to remain in sports. Like this has been my life. This is what has always brought me joy. There's community in sport. And so I will continue to do stuff with that. I mean, we actually, my husband and I also just, and one of our friends here, open a little indoor facility where we can coach low income kids. And that
Oh,
that I
great.
can coach. I can't coach like top-notch competitive sports because I know I'm gonna be just like Chris. I'm gonna be out on the field. I
Yeah.
wanna be tackling, and I just can't do that probably at that age whenever it gets to that. But I definitely wanna remain in sports. Broadcast is fun because I love highlighting this league. I love highlighting the international league. So that would definitely be ideal. But in engineering, I don't know if I'll get back into engineering. That's a lot of school again.
Yeah. Well, you are a natural at being on camera. You are a light that really like lights up every room. So you got a bright future ahead of you after soccer, but we want to enjoy watching you for a long time before then and wishing you the best of success the rest of the season.
Oh, you just make me feel so good. Thank you.